Yo, can I get in on this? I want another one, two. One, two. Oh, you thought it was through. This was just one assignment, boo. Judge checking with God, getting next instructions. You need an advocate, reach out, he might be coming. This young black king needs no introduction. When he shows up, haters hate seeing him coming. And no, he's not Malcolm, he's not Martin either. He got his own style. Ja-da-da-ya, we see ya. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. And when he comes through, you know they coming too. Hey yo, INA, where you at? What it do? They got receipts, they got them files. They gon' investigate an advocate, holding it down. And when it comes to intel, you know they showing out. You're smiling in Jed's face. Hold up, check that file. Don't run up on them either, they always in the crowd. INA got his back, you don't know when they around. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. And then there's Jed's mother, you know she gon' speak. She praying for the people, prophesying what she see. Jed, God got you covered, he's holding you down. He's showing you his favor, his mercy, his power. So always stay humble, give God your best. Remember you're a man, ain't no S on your chest. You know where help comes from when you're up or you're down. That crew runs deep, keep the real ones around. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. Yeah. That crew runs deep, keep the real ones around. Keep the real ones around. INA runs deep, keep the real ones around.
Yo, how y'all doing? Welcome to Investigate, Navigate, where injustice finds no rest. I am your host, Jedediah Brown. And obviously, there's a lot of things going on in the country. We are living in some truly unprecedented times. I want to give a shout out to all of our viewers on both Facebook and YouTube alike. Thank you for being here. Special shout out to my For the Culture family. Because of all of you all, we're able to do what we do. Tonight, as I have said, we have been looking at a ton of things going on across America. I've been concerned about the state of our country, the state of our community, what is going on both on the national and the local level. I think today we're going to see something different. That's because we've been hearing women sound off across the country. That's no surprise. Women are vocal, women are moving, women are loud. But today we're going to take a different approach, because I want to hear from some brothers. We're going to hear from some men and their perspective of what is going on in the country and the current direction is going. And is this literally a house in recovery or a house on fire? So with no further delay, I'm going to bring up our guest tonight. You all, the first guest that I want to bring up, his name is Darius Randall. Darius is a Chicago-based advocate, a brother I know him very well. He's a minister, and he is a hard-working man. I'll let him get kind of sort of in the meat and potatoes of that if he chooses to do it. I never say this name right.
Leon Allen.
Yeah, what he said, ladies and
Lee
gentlemen.
Allen.
He will definitely be able to make a formal introduction, commentary, and put y'all on game of what he's up to and who he is, as well as brother Jeff. Jeff, I think is going to have a unique perspective. I'm not going to get too, huh? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Jeff, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give him the opportunity to do so as well, give himself an introduction. And you all know this man right here, violence interrupting himself, brother T.O. Hardeman.
I plead the fifth.
Professor, community advocate. We have a couple of We got a couple other gentlemen that'll be joining us tonight. I think I want to do justice as it relates to the introduction. Lee Allen, could you introduce yourself, followed by Jeff? Tell the people who you are.
I'm Lee Allen Jones. Been around for a long time. I ran for U.S. Senator in 2011, 2012 for the Green Party. I ran for the second congressional seat in 2013 for the special election after Jesse Jackson Jr., published author, documentarian. And now I have a business where I train and mentor student athletes.
Jeff, tell us who you are.
I'm sorry.
Apologize to us. Hopefully, okay, there you go. There you go. Jeff, tell us who you are.
Hey, listen, man. I'm
Been a long
Jeffrey
time.
Coleman.
Jeff. All right, we'll give Jeff a second to get that together. None other. Also, I want to introduce to the stage Brother Keith Price, the czar for the culture, the host of Political Ties. You guys, he is no stranger to us. Welcome, Mr. Price. Darius, who are you?
Wow. You said it, man. You said a mouthful. Activist. Sometimes I feel like I'm a preacher. Sometimes I feel like I'm not. Uh, fighter of truth, fighter for the people.
T.O., who are you?
Yeah, Teal Hardeman, former candidate for governor. I ran for governor twice in Illinois, and I've been a community, leader, community activist, you name it, for quite some time now. But mainly, I worked in the field of violence prevention and made a lot of commentary on world issues throughout my career as well, and interviewed, all over the place on different news circuits all over the country. So it's an honor to be here with you, to be
Never
honest
can
with you.
hear on here.
Yep. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, that's it for me. I plead the
I
fifth. That's
can't
all I'm going to
hear.
say. I
Yeah,
plead the fifth.
Keith always has this audio issue with his.
Jed, you got me muted.
No, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you, Keith.
We can hear you for sure. Jeff, who are you?
Yeah, I'm having a very hard time hearing. It's going in and out. I don't know if you brothers can hear me, but
I can hear you.
can
We
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you, Jeff.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, sorry, Jeffrey Coleman. I'm Jeffrey Coleman, and I love and respect every brother on this panel. So I'm here to add my 2 cents to this conversation on the conservative side, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, you already came out swinging. Jeff said he's a conservative. So that's, I guess, well, let's go straight down the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, looking at the political fallout between Democrats and Republicans, what do you all think that the black man lands? Are we more conservative, more moderate, or more liberal? No particular order. What's up?
Well, I believe the black man and the black woman should start their own political party personally, because we end up being caught up in the shuffle. And like I said, it's a house on fire right now with the Democrats and the Republicans. But if you had a strong, because a lot of people depend on the black vote, and I think we would be the difference maker or the game changer if we were to kind of start our own independent black party. And everybody's welcome to join it, because you need like that. You need a balance in politics right now, because everything is either you this way or that way, and that's not really working for the multitudes of the people, because now it's just like political gang banging going on. You got to choose sides, and that's my take on it. For my initial part of the discussion tonight, Jedediah.
Man, what's going on in the barbershop, Darius? Are we conservative? Are we moderate? Are we Republican? I mean, liberal? Where does the black man stand from your perspective?
I think I hear all sides of it. You know, um, but it's I'm a student of history. I'm a student of Dr. King. And the civil rights movement. And if it wasn't for that movement, we wouldn't have so much access and so many seats coming under Reverend Jesse Jackson, serving with him for years. All the work that he did to register more African Americans than any sole individual to vote in the history of America, for the Democratic Party, himself and Ron Brown touring this country. So since then, we've elected so many African Americans, not only to Congress, not only to mayors of big cities. We have several black mayors around the country as we speak because of this work. One black governor in Maryland, and we've elected the first black president. No, we haven't arrived completely to the promised land, but I believe if we keep pushing, we'll eventually get there.
Lee Allen, where does the black man need to be at, and where are we from your perspective?
From my perspective, I think it's a really inconvenient conversation. Um, listening to Darius and listening to To. We've heard this before in terms of black people having their own parties. The taking credit for getting people elected to public office. And if you take into consideration what all that's done and what you're trying to do, I think it's more manipulative than it is strategy.
Mm.
Uh, we don't have power. We don't have power, and I think we thought we had power to get Obama elected, and then we think we don't have power now that Trump is elected. When Trump and Obama come from the same cloth, they're politicians, they're wealthy people, and we get manipulated because we're very emotional, and that's why I say it's a very inconvenient conversation. We should be playing both parties. We don't have to create a new party. The Latinos vote 30% for Republicans, and they vote 60 to 70%. They 30% for Republicans, probably another 50% are Democrats, and then 20% are independents. So, from a political perspective, you have to cover the bases with all of that diversity when it looks at the Latino vote. 95 to 99% of African Americans vote for Democrats, and they've gotten nothing for it. So, for me, I don't think we have power, and I don't think we're seeking power. And I think, and it's really about the white liberals that control the African American vote. White liberals
Mm.
have controlled the African American vote going back to the Roosevelt administration. And when we look at what happened during the Great Society under Johnson, that was another great manipulation of black people. So I think the more we talk politics, the reality is politics is not going to bring or bear the fruit that the African American community needs, because we're peons in the game and we're powerless. And right now, I find great concerned with the fact that the most intelligent black people, or the people that we give the most credit to, are going to spend the next 3 years bashing President Trump when they should be trying to get something from him, so that you can sustain. You didn't get anything under Obama. Remember during the Obama administration, nobody pressed Obama. They said, wait, give him a chance. Remember that? Remember the first 100 days? Give him a chance. Don't put the pressure on him. Imagine if black people would have put the pressure on Obama the same way they're putting the pressure on Trump, what that could have yielded.
Mm.
Jeff, the black man, are we liberal, conservative, moderate? What should we be?
Most black people I've met in my life, I'm 57 years, are conservative. My grandparents, your grandparents, your every raise your hand if your granddaddy didn't have a gun. Raise your hand if most people believe that, and I agree a lot with what Brother Lee Allen said wholeheartedly. I think that I think that I don't think that it should be a side. I think we should all boost our political IQs and get less emotional about this, because and get really down to the nitty gritty, because I'm dissatisfied with our local politicians forever. See, politics is local, man. We have to build a strategy and a structure, because all the mob bosses, all the machine cats is dissolved. So a lot of us who have been led by a master puppet and with campaigning or donating to our campaigns, we didn't make a move without the master's permission. Now the master ain't there, and we don't know what to do with it. And disruption is an opportunity. I don't
Mm.
think that we should. I don't think we should ever put our. Should have never put our eggs in one basket. I don't think. I think we're a lot smarter than that. I just think that emotions and basically media and all of this redirection of the truth in the matter of fact changes our narrative.
Keith Price, if you, oh, damn, he gone. Working on his equipment. Thank you guys for that. What I would want to, I guess, pivot to is another kind of a broad question. We see what's going on in the media as it relates to the presidency of Donald Trump. Is the house on fire, or is it a house that is recovering? There's
Um, it's definitely a house that is on fire, but not only so much a house, but an entire world. As we saw this past weekend, with the No King marches and rallies, which was made light of by the president. Uh, but I don't think that should be made light of because they was protesting not only in America, but as far as Japan, with millions of people out there in the streets, raising their voice in dissent. Um, I definitely think that the house is on fire, but Dr. King saw this time. He was talking to Harry Belafonte. He said that I believe that I liberated my people into a burning house. You know, uh, he was afraid of what was to come for America, and with the division and with the vitriol and following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, how they're making him a savior to their
This shit ain't gonna work.
policies and to their agendas. Uh, where is the black man in all this? I tell you, he's behind the gun of another unarmed shooting by a police officer.
Hmm.
is the house on fire or a house recovering, Tio?
Well, you look at the biggest topic right now across the world and our nation, it's the illegal immigrant issue. So yeah, it's on fire. The House is on fire as it relates to the Republicans and Democrats dealing with the immigration, dilemma, I would say, because we have laws here in the country. People that cross the border illegally have come into the country the wrong way. Now I understand that, but I offer the solution. My thing is, if people have been here for more than a year and they've been over there working, they haven't gotten into any kind of trouble, they haven't broken the law, then you try to work out a pathway to citizenship with them. But the people that have been over here for a year or less, then they may have to go back. I don't like the way it's being carried out, pretty much in public. It's like a witch hunt. But at one time or another, I was totally against the illegal immigrant issue, but my mind is a little bit more open now based on the fact that you got people out here trying to make a better life for their families. I get tired of everybody trying to include the African American struggle into that particular struggle like it was the same struggle. There's no comparison to the transatlantic slave trade when you talk about the legal immigration issue. But I do believe that the Republicans and the Democrats alike are playing the immigrant issue as a political football, you see, and it's not good in that regard. So yeah, the house is on fire as relates to that particular hot topic right now. There are a lot of other topics as well, Jedediah, that we had to confront. But right now, that's a major issue right now.
Lee.
Jedediah, it's always been on fire. This is nothing new. I mean, what we're seeing now is the fact that because we have so much new alternative media, we're getting information in ways that we've never gotten before, taking into consideration what we're doing right now, in this forum that you've brought us together to have had this discussion. So it's always been on fire. The immigration issue goes back to 1865 after the Emancipation Proclamation. As soon as the Emancipation Proclamation was done and we got ostensibly freedom, you had a flood of immigrants that came from Eastern Europe, the Polish, that were Ukrainian. They all came here, and they came here because the former slaves had all of the skill sets to run an economy in terms of being the labor, because they were the cheap labor and they were the free labor. So immigration has always been used to undermine black people. You can go to the Spanish American War when we invaded Cuba and when we invaded the Philippines. Those people, once we conquered them, they were able to immigrate into the country after World War I. And we defeated the Nazis and we defeated the Bolsheviks and all of that. They got immigration into the country. And so that happened again in World War II. We've used the American government has used immigration as a way to always dilute the power of African Americans. And then when you throw Jim Crow on that, we've always been on fire. So to have a discussion about the present day without looking at the context of history is a disservice, because we're having the same discussion that our great great grandfathers had.
Did
I
the
mean, and
people you
so that
mentioned come over here illegally, or were they brought to the country? Were they invited to the
I
country, in
think
other
that's a
words?
moot. Tio, I think that's a moot point. I think when you look at slavery, so if you want to look at slavery, look at the Indians. The Native Americans were here before us. So
I
I mean, when I
understand.
look at when I look at the modern immigration problem, what I look at is that it's always been used to dilute the power of Black people, and then the Black
Well,
elite have always been manipulated in not understanding the sophistication of the global economy, and that's what we're in right now. Right now, I don't even know why anybody talks about race. AI is not racist.
Mm,
Artificial intelligence
Lee
is
Allen,
not racist.
but when you
okay.
think about it, and you look at the history, the first people that were here was black people. When you look at the dirt
No,
ain't
no,
Indian
yeah,
color.
I
The
get
dirt is
that. I
black.
get that. See, I get that, right? And that's why I started and I prefaced my discussion with saying that we're really powerless. I think that when we present those types of discussions, we think that automatically putting that information out there means that somebody's supposed to benefit us with power because of that narrative. The narrative itself is
Automatically
weak.
putting that information out there means that some
I got reverb. So I mean, when we had this discussion, we're not having a discussion from a position of power, because if we were having a discussion from a position of power, we would be talking about immigration not from what happened in the last 5 to 10 years. We should be talking about immigration, what's happened over the last 150 years, because to me that is the case for reparations. Because when you have a government that uses foreign labor to debase the domestic labor that was already here, that was strategic. That violated our First Amendment rights: life, liberty, and prosperity in the pursuit of happiness, using public policy. And if
Interesting.
we and that's where the discussion should be. Let's not talk about the immigration policies of 2020 and 2025. Let's talk about the immigration policy of 1860, 1865, 1870. Because if you remember on Django, what nationality was the man in Django that was with Jamie Foxx? What was his nationality?
He was
He was
French, am I
German,
right?
wasn't
No, he was German. And the
German,
Germans
yeah.
were the biggest immigrants that came over after the Civil War. Because if you remember the riots that happened in St. Louis, the riots that happened in St. Louis, those were German immigrants fighting against African Americans. And if you read your history, again, Darius, you go back and you talk to the Philadelphia Negro when he talked about the dock workers and them bringing over the Greeks. Immigration has always been used against Black people. That's why it's difficult right now to see the Black people that are benefiting off immigration for peanuts, immigration for peanuts, not knowing how systemic an issue this is.
Gather, did the Germans come over here through a process, or did
Fire,
they just
fire,
arrive over here?
fire. But hold on, I want to ask.
Bronzeville was Bronzeville is German Jew.
A German, exactly. That's my point, and that's why we never go
But
ahead.
hold
So think about
on,
this.
gentlemen. I want to segue.
Hold on, Jedediah,
I want to
Jedediah,
ask you, Jeff. I'm
Je-
going to
Je-
ask you: is the house on fire or is the house in recovery?
It's on fire.
Jedediah, Jedediah, respectfully again, I love healthy conversation, but can you please not line me up against Lee Allen? Because everything he's saying I agree with. It's gonna seem like I'm agreeing with everything he's saying. Can you just pick me
And
first,
y'all know
or
me and Jeff both Tauruses, right? I think we might have the same birthday.
Yeah,
That'll work.
yeah. So no. Listen, yes. The house has been on fire. We have just been comfortable sleeping under the heat. We have to
Hmm,
change that narrative.
it's a good one.
and then everything else what Lee said. Got it. So KP, I mean, have you got your shit together yet? Because don't just sit there and mug the chat, brother. Is the house on fire or is
You got
it
the reverb again.
Mr. Price?
Now we don't
His
hear him.
microphone is off. His microphone off.
Oh wait, let me. Oh, it sure is. Hold on.
Chief went to public school, man.
Okay, Price, gotta unmute. Gotta unmute. Can you
Microphone still off.
you gotta it says
it's not
okay there. Wait, push the button that you pushed again to unmute.
No, he got a Nextel.
Please.
Want to
Keith,
hear from
push
Price,
the
man?
mic,
Come
brother.
on,
Push the
Price.
mic. Push the mic.
Please.
There you
It
go.
said it said
Want to hear?
Jed had it muted on my screen. Push the mic. Please. It said Jed had it muted on my screen. Push the mic.
All right, whatever.
It said Jed had it muted on my screen.
Oh Lord, he was playing through another device so that he
That's Kareem.
is the house
Hey,
recovered.
Jedediah, can you hang up on him?
It's
Can you
about
just hang up on him?
Hey, I don't know what Jed got going on, man. Jed do this to me on purpose, I think, man.
Go ahead, answer the question, KP. Yeah, you about to get hung up on, man. For real.
Hey, all I know is I hear people talking about no kings, but all of them kissing the ring of Priska. All of them bowing down to Priska in Illinois. All these Democrats have sold their soul to the billionaire in Illinois. But people want to talk about no kings while they kissing the ring of Fred Flintstone in Illinois, man.
sounds like he's saying that the house is burning
Yeah,
down.
that was actually worth the wait.
That's good. That's good.
Keep this no mercy across the board, nowhere. Okay, so gentlemen, let's go to a little bit. So let me try to go a little bit more focused with this because President of the United States, and I just want to just get this really quickly, and I just have been setting the tone for who's on the screen. We'll start with that. Is the President of the United States, Donald Trump, doing a good job, or is he doing a bad job?
Can I answer that first?
Jeff, yeah.
Thank you. I respect every commander in chief that's been elected by the people. Our politics are local. Not satisfied with career politicians when I haven't seen any economic development. I haven't seen any. I'm 57 years old. I went to Percy Levon Julian. I used to go to Wendy's on 87. I did everything everybody in my age group did. We go to it's I still haven't seen. I've seen I think we have the most black elected officials in the I don't know if it's in the state of the country, but I know elected officials that were elected when I was in high school. I don't know if it's in the state of the country. So at one point, what does somebody say? When I was in high school.
I'm muted, Keith. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry about that.
I can't hear myself. So what did I say about the intellect or the political intellect? I remember coming up and honoring these individuals, Gus Savages of the world, and the twins, and and of course the late Mayor Harold Washington. As a matter of fact, that's what my family and my family's family organized, and after the demise of Harold Washington, and see how they put us in a trick bag, and that's when we became Republicans. I ain't a new Republican. I'm not a Trump Republican. My family ties go deep in Chicago. It's respected, and we did it for the right reasons. And it took us a long time to even get to a comfortable conversation. Can you imagine coming up in '80 and '81 talking about Republicans and freaking Chicago? So I said all that to say this. Where have we really gotten to? And why are we still, no disrespect to anybody's conversation, why are we still talking about 1800s, 1960s? Like, man, there's people that never even seen a cassette or album. It's kids out here that need our help right now. Why do we have to revert back to what happened that didn't happen for us?
Yeah, but before we
Like,
go that deep into it, Jeff, I'm wondering though, is the president right now doing a good job or no? And let me put it in a better context for you, because obviously, if you look at some of the some of the trending things, it appears that retail sales are weakening, housing starts have dropped to their lowest since mid 2020, and the immigration crackdown is tightening the labor supply. Is this good for the country?
Jedediah, let me help you and jump right
Well, we're
in,
gonna let
cause
Jeff go
I
first. Jeff
I
is the
I
president
think
doing good enough.
Jeff
Yeah,
is
no. I don't think anything that's detrimental to a community or any society that weakens society is good. But I can guarantee you this: our politics are local. Politics don't trickle down; they trickle up. So I think that the result and the effect of uh, his politics don't affect us as much as we think they do. As far as the ones that's down here locally, that's just my opinion.
Okay, Lee, is Trump doing good? Because in another perspective of it, there's been an addition of 73,000 jobs in July alone, but it is still far below what economists have projected. Is Donald Trump doing a good job or not?
You asking me?
Yes, sir.
I want to hear Darius. Can I respond after Darius?
You got it, Randall.
no, thank you, Leanna. You're so kind. God bless you. Um, uh, as I was saying, because I wanted to tear Jeff ass up and what he was saying, man, because
Right.
he was
First
talking
of
that
all, you a
shit.
reverend. You just cursed at me on national TV.
That's all right. That's all right. And I cuss again. I'm gonna tear your ass up on national TV. Because I don't believe none of that shit that you just said. That politics trickles from the bottom up. Hell no. Politics is definitely from the top down. Because case in point, there's billions and billions of dollars that has been
Hell no.
promised not
Politics is
only to New York City,
different.
not only to the state of Maryland, not only to the state of Illinois, and the city of Chicago, but tell me what all these different states got in common. They are all led by Democratic governors and Democratic mayors who this president has automatically, said that he's not going to give any funding or help to these Democratic-led cities. Mind you, there was already contracts on the table that this funding was promised to. Not only is Trump an authoritarian leader who has shown his authoritarian style of politics as a dictator, but he's shown how divisive and how racist that he is. So hell to the no,
On how
hell
Okay,
to the no, he's not
Jedediah,
doing good.
Jedediah, you gotta give me,
So
you have to
hell to
give
the
me,
no,
You
you
got it.
gotta give me a little time to, okay, I got it. So
Hold on
listen,
one
it's
second.
still a reverb.
Before you respond to that, Keith, when you unmute, we're hearing your other device. It's kind of giving us feedback. You think you can
Yeah.
get a device that can
So
both?
hold on, can I just respond to this 2 seconds? You know what? I respect and I love your interpretation of your life and your life experience. I can tell you one thing: politics has always been local. Politics has always been controlled. If you can go to any of these states you're talking about that are controlled, that are democratically controlled, if you got in an airplane and jumped out of and landed on every Martin Luther King Drive in the world, the schools are going to be crappy. No economic development. Everybody talks about economic development and working with banks, and we don't have access to capital. No, that's why, man. Can I just say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone? Those chicken on 127th and Halsted, my favorite right, and 103rd and Halsted are owned by other than us. That just tells you, man. So yeah, I get it, but come on, man. Our politics have always been local. And that's just the truth of the matter. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Mr. Hardiman, is the president doing a good job?
Well, when it comes to Donald Trump, I have to say this first. This is a president that's been convicted 34 times, right? And he's got what you
Exactly.
call a white man's pass 3.0, white privilege. I'm not against him all the way. I want to make that clear because I think he's doing some things that are decent. Then he has a whole lot of issues. You got a guy that you cannot really trust in that office when you get down to it. So the verdict is still out for me. I know he has a few more years on his term as the president. So far, like I say, we haven't gone to war. He's done some good work trying to make peace. over in Israel with the Palestinians, and people keep saying that's a war. It's not a war because the Palestinians don't have no weapons to really fight no war. But the thing is, he's done some things on the world stage that are pretty decent. You know, and when I say that, I want to talk about the attempts. I'm talking about the word attempts to make peace with the Ukrainians and the Russians because there's no peace as of right now. And then there's some peace. Hopefully they'll rebuild the Gaza Strip or whatever the case may be. But you have a president in office that he's only in office because of white privilege. There's no way in the world this will never happen in the history of the United States
Exactly.
ever again, where you have a president that's been convicted 34. I believe in second chances, but I don't believe in 34 second chances. All right, I'm just being straight up with you. So it's hard for me to answer that question because the verdict is still out. I'm not totally against Trump, but I do, Leanne. I have to go back real quick here. If we had a black independent party, let's say where the black vote really, really counts, I'm talking the highest level, then we can get the resources we need before we vote for anybody, whether we vote Democratic or Republican. If we had that base, a real solid base of black voters, then we can dictate and what the kind of resource that we should receive. In other words, I just want to put it out there. But to answer your question more directly, Jedediah Brown, the verdict is still out on Donald Trump. Right, I'm surprised we haven't gone. You know, he blew up a few ships that were bringing drugs into the United States. He did that. He struck the Iranian nuclear sites, man, and you haven't heard nothing from them since then, man. So it's some work that he's doing, I believe, because no matter what we say, then I'll let it go. Any country that's willing, that will be able to survive the next 100 years, it's mandatory that they have a strong military presence. If you don't have a strong military and coming up with new ideas and new concepts as far as military power, your country will be conquered by another country. The Chinese people, they got 100,000 robots now. I know a nuclear bomb can just obliterate everything, don't get me wrong, but we have to stay strong. The Trump appears to be a strong type military guy, all right? But, that's all I got to say. I don't want to just over talk it, but you asked me the question. That's my answer, Jedediah.
Lee, is he doing a good job?
I'll go back to my prior points because I want to be consistent with it. Donald Trump is playing the same game that a Democratic president would play. See, we look at everything when it comes to us as America. We have run the global economic system since the end of World War II, where the dollar is the reserve currency in the world, and it's done so because we have had the strongest military. We rebuilt Europe with the Marshall Plan. And now we're in a situation where they call it decoupling. The world does not need dollars more than it needs the commodities that dollars buy. And now with China being the world's largest manufacturer and can outproduce anybody in the world. Right now, if you wanted to buy an American car right now, American electric vehicle, it would cost you upwards of $50,000 right now to buy any domestic brand of a electric vehicle. That same vehicle in China would now cost you $12,000 to $15,000, almost a 65% reduction. China is going to use its leverage to deleverage the dollar and use its commercial economy and they're already economically stronger than America. So what Donald Trump is trying to do is he's truly trying to make America first. As African Americans, white liberals have enabled us to speak in manners that really don't matter. We don't have power. That's why you have conversations about appropriations that you don't control. As T.O. said, even if you got a black leadership class, they could be no more powerful than the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus is the largest caucus in Congress, is something like 50 members. There's a story today in The Nation magazine, about how AIPAC owns the black congressional leaders because they pay for them to be there. We can't afford our politics. Even Darius, even your leader, who you follow under in Jesse Lewis Jackson, his entire career has been buttressed by white liberals. Our best leaders in the African American community were no different than any other immigrant community. It would have been our gang culture class. You know what I mean? And T.O., for you to speak on the president's 34 felonies being in Chicago, talk about Madigan, talk about Burke, talk about the Dailies. We
Madigan
sat
just
here and
got
let the Burke.
convicted.
Let me finish.
Right. He just got convicted, though.
Let
and
me
nobody
finish. Can I
would vote
finish?
for a
Can
black
I
man for
finish?
president.
Can
Go ahead,
I
brother.
finish?
Yes,
Can
sir.
I
Yes, sir.
finish?
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
finish? I let you speak.
All
You
right.
talk about Donald Trump when the dailies allowed Donald Trump to come here and circumvent all norms to get the Trump Tower built. Nobody said a thing. Absolutely nothing. Everybody praised it. Donald Trump supported Jesse Jackson. Donald Trump supported Al Sharpton. See, this is why politics is not what we do because we always come from it from a powerless position. And right now, what white liberals have done is they think it's going to be a swing back to what they control. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to happen. The Democratic Party has imploded. The only people that don't know that they have imploded are black people.
Mm.
And you're going to be the last ones out of a burning house because you think they're going to give you something that they don't even provide for themselves. The war in Ukraine and Russia are between cousins. Taiwan, China. We have been the longest undermined political class in America by autopilot.
Mm.
And
You
everything
make
is from a
yeah.
position of powerlessness.
Now you make some good points, brother Leanne. You know, we having a good discussion here. I only have one question here. Would black and white people alike vote for a black man for president that had 34 convictions? Then I
You
want to ask
keep
you all
talking.
that
That's
question.
that's
Now, would it
power.
happen
That's
though? Would it happen,
powerless.
Leanne? Would it
That's
happen?
power. That you
Would
you had
black
a,
would black
all of
folks
those
would
charges
black
were
folks
dismissed.
no
All
would
of
black
those
folks
charges were
nah
dismissed.
the man was convicted for with
Listen,
34 counts.
He
Tio,
pardoned
it's hard
himself.
for Tio. Listen, I'm gonna tell you the contradiction,
Trump
Tio.
Come
pardoned
on,
Look at
man.
himself.
this,
Now
Tio.
it's no
Listen.
contradiction. Now
It's a
you talking, I
contradiction.
listen. There's no contradiction. The bottom line, he was convicted 34 times. Would black
And
folks
he
and white
pardoned
folks
himself.
Tio,
vote
you
for? Would
work
they
in
vote
violence
for a white?
prevention
Would
with
they
ex
vote for a
offenders, and
black
you're
man?
talking about
Would they
somebody
vote
being
for a black
convicted.
man with 34 convictions, Leanne? Would you
Lee
vote for a black
Allen, Lee
man for
Allen,
president?
Lee
Lee
Allen,
Allen, my fault.
Tio.
My fault, Lee Allen. Now, look, no, just let me ask one last question. That's it. Would white folks, African American people, and Lee Allen vote for a black man for president with 34 convictions and all that suspect behavior before he became the president? Yes or no?
Listen, who did Barack Obama convict for the mortgage fraud out of all of those bankers from IMG, from Lehman Brothers, when they imploded the economy almost by $1 trillion? Who did Barack Obama prosecute and who did his DOJ send to jail? Eric Holder sent nobody to jail. That's why
You
I'm
didn't
saying
answer
to
my
you, you're
question.
speaking about this
Lee
from a
Allen,
position of
answer my
powerlessness,
question.
which, what?
Would you
I
vote
don't
for
have
a
that.
black man that was running for president that had 34 convictions in their background?
You had overzealous prosecution, T.O.
Okay, gentlemen,
Listen, let me put it like this, T.O. Listen. Just listen to this, T.O. T.O. Listen. The same thing that you saying
I would do it.
that
I ain't
Trump
gonna
was
lie.
convicted.
I vote for somebody.
Listen, no,
I
listen.
would. Yeah.
You voted for you guys. Listen.
to move
Go
the
ahead.
conversation forward. We don't want to hold everybody all night. There's more
That's
people
right. That's right.
in the spirit of
We
conversation.
good. We good. Yeah, we good.
Important things. I basically, from a numbers perspective, it is suggested by Representative Anna Pressley that 70% of black women who are the primary breadwinners in their households are literally now trying to figure out how to survive because the presidency has literally the Department of Efficiency, of Government Efficiency, the cuts from diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as a rollback of civil rights protections and a literal purge, as they claim, from the federal workforce. That even though Donald Trump said that black women are beautiful, it appears that roughly 12% of the federal workforce that's made up of black women and hundreds of thousands of people now, due to things like the shutdown, are out of a job. What do you as black men,
Wait before the shutdown.
what do you as black men, how do you feel hearing these numbers as it relates to black women who has been coined by some as the most disrespected person in our nation? What do you have to say to those numbers?
Can I talk before the more brilliant brothers talk? Uh, I would like to say that I have a mom, an auntie, grandmama who raised me. Black women has been the backbone of our society forever, and they were plucked from our society. Well, we were plucked against them, or they were plucked against us way back before all this. I don't understand why people think. The only thing new in this world is the shit you don't know. So if you think that this is a new problem for us separating our families, taking the black man out of the equation, come on, I don't even want to have this discussion, or I can't answer the question because this is it's mind blowing to me. This is not a new issue. This was strategically modified to create it by a system that doesn't work for us. Period. And that's all I gotta say.
Mm.
Uh, well,
I'm right here.
this is Project 2025 at its finest. This is what Trump planned. This is what he was gonna do, which myself and journalist Roland Martin and so many others, we all said this was gonna happen. We tried to tell people when we all stumped for Kamala, and believed that she was the better candidate. We tried to tell people that Trump would do this, and he's fired over 300,000 black women.
Mm.
And on top of that, we're still in a government shutdown that many people are blaming the Democrats for, but in reality, who's in charge of the House and the Senate? Who runs the House and the Senate? Who's the president of the United States? They are all Republicans. So therefore, if we're gonna place blame on these DEI firings, and all of these cuts, we need to place blame at the top. Right there at 1600
Pastor,
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Pastor, I got a question to ask you. And this is a serious question. I'm not trying to be facetious. Have you ever known anybody to benefit from the DEI that's
Absolutely,
black?
absolutely.
Okay, well, you got one up on me.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Respond to those statistics, Tio.
Well, mainly when it come down, if you don't mind, Brother Jedediah, can you repeat that for me one more time? My bad.
I said a lot, but basically 70% of women are being labeled by Anna Presley as the primary breadwinners for the black community. And there is a staggering number through federal
Hmm.
policies that have left a large amount of black women basically unemployed or looking for a job. And I was asking you all to respond to those
Yeah,
numbers.
that's fine. Yeah, I'll say this much: African American women have been the backbone of the black family for decades, centuries, to a degree. There, and I would have to dig a little deeper into those numbers, Jedediah, in order to make a real appropriate response for it, because you have black men out here that are taking care of the business as well as breadwinners. So them numbers, have to really be kind of analyzed so we can bring the real information to the table before I make a judgment call on it. Because now, as far as the women being unemployed, that's not right, because even our forefathers have been so beneficial to this country. We fought in every world war, all the wars the country has had, and we stood up for this country the same way we had to stand up for everybody else in this country, because a lot of people are taking the model from what our forefathers did in order to kind of like for their own benefit, in other words. So once again, black women, we have to speak up for black women in that regard, okay? It's not right to have women, their incomes taken from them for whatever reason. I know Pastor Darius said 300,000. Let me get the number right, Darius. You said 300,000 African
Over
American
over
women
300,000 black women
have
since
lost their
since
employment.
President Trump took over the
Okay.
White
Well, see,
House.
those are
He's
numbers. Those
fired over
numbers are not.
300,000 black women.
Those numbers are not acceptable. Now, Trump is a very vindictive individual. We all must agree with that. Trump looked at the numbers of people who voted for him. African American men voted, I think, about, correct me if I'm wrong, 15 to 20%. Black women voted 99, some 98% for Miss Harris. So he looks at all those type of factors when he makes his decision. So, and you have to agree with me, everybody, for the most part, the guy is vindictive. He shoots from the hip. He's up all night tweeting everybody. He never gets any rest, so he may make some decisions that are not the best. In my far as the way I look at it. So back to Jedediah's question, I would like to dig a little deeper into them numbers before I, offer my full response. Okay.
Pause, gentlemen. You won't be able to see his face, but basically, before I go and ask anybody further, Deontay Johnson is a black man who has been very clear about his conservative views and his support of the Trump administration. Having said with him in many settings, was a part of Blacks for Trump and Deontay. Come on, what is the name of the organization? The Federation. What's the name of it? One more time. The Black Conservative Federation. This is a man who sits with the President of the United States. And I think that I want to ask you, Deontay, before I go back to our panel, is this country on the right course? And is Donald Trump really doing good for Black people?
I do believe that the country is on the right course. I think that there's some irregularities that happens, of course, that you're fine with anything. And is President Donald Trump doing right by Black people? I think so. I believe so. You know, for so long, politicians have pandered on, I'm just going to do this for Black people. I'm saying, I'm just going to do this for Black people. But everything they've done was never economically beneficial. We started with giving more money to HBCUs. A couple of weeks ago, we just gave $500 million to historically Black colleges, giving them $1.3 billion overall in this administration. That's really good. The second thing is focusing on STEM studies, focusing on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Those are things that directly affects our communities in the vast majority. We're seeing now the president announce about not paying back student loan forgiveness. That's something that he announced that the last administration said they were going to do, but they did not do. Criminal justice reform. Second chance hiring, which is my favorite, because one of the biggest issues that we have is that there's no secret that there is, Black men are incarcerated at a very high rate, at the highest rate amongst all minorities. And the unfortunate thing about it is that when they get out of jail, there's no job to go to because you can't hire a felon. And so what happens is people end up going back and doing the same thing and getting back in jail. But second chance hiring gives companies a tax incentive to be able to hire formerly convicted and felons to work for them and giving people a second chance.
Before and I'll let the panel respond to that, but I do want to ask you a question that I was asking them, and that was with the civil protection rollback, the purging of the federal workforce, the Department of Government Efficiency, eliminations of diversion, equity, and inclusion. Do you feel, as Anna Presley has coined it, 70% of the breadwinners of Black families are women, and with roughly 12% of the federal workforce being Black women, do you feel that these policies have hurt the Black household or Black women, even though he said that Black women are beautiful? Do you agree with that as a Black man who sits with the President of the United States at times?
So this is the thing. Yes, Black women were hurt tremendously by the DEI and rollbacks and by DOGE and all the government efficiency policy. However, if you look at DEI as an overarching, the whole program of DEI, the people who benefited from DEI the most were white women. White women like to place themselves as minorities for the purpose of policies like DEI. White women and the LGBT community is the community that received the most benefit from DEI. Black people didn't receive that much support, that much benefit from DEI. But also, DEI is not saying, let's put a Black person in a position and make them the vice president of DEI or vice president of diversity. No, make me the vice president of finance. Make me the vice president of HR. Make me the vice president, the senior vice president. Make me the CEO. Just because you say I'm going to put Black people in this position is not helping Black America. It's just giving a position that no one actually respects you in the job anyway. No one actually takes you serious because they know that you're only there because you're Black. Who wants to be somewhere just because, I'm in this position because I'm Black? But also what happens is when these companies started to do layoffs, the first position they got rid of was the DEI position. Give Black people positions of substance. Give Black people positions that they should be where their voice actually matters. Don't just bring Black people to the table when it's time to come discuss Black issues. So that is my biggest problem with DEI, is that DEI never really benefited Black people. It benefited the white man to say that they did it, but it never actually benefited generations of Black wealth.
Overlay for the underplay.
He said two things, very powerful. Lee, do you want to respond to any of the things that Mr. Deontay has said?
It's perfect. Like I said, like I said before, we don't have power and we're not making policy choices or engage in the political process with any form of power. So we want concessions while being powerless, and then we want to be respected. If like I said before, this is nothing new. That's why when we even look at the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, many Black people wanted the Affordable Care Act without really knowing what the Affordable Care Act did. What the Affordable Care Act actually did is it helped white families who had children with substance abuse problems to pay for their drug treatment. That was the biggest benefit of the ACA policy. We found out during COVID that Black people were still unhealthy, even though there was substantial investments made in the local level and on the national level with programs that were supposed to deal with all of the issues that were exposed during COVID. And so when we do get these resources, many of the resources we do get and we demand from government, when they're appropriated back, it ends up being a ton of corruption, as in housing. Here it is that the state of California spent $24 billion that was supposed to solve housing, and they still have a homeless issue and spent $24 billion. We don't really see the Black elite really don't want working class Black people to ever be empowered. I'm a libertarian more than I'm a conservative of anything. I tend to believe that we don't need big government. The only reason you have big government is that you want to be in control. When you look at Black women, we talked about Black women. Black women have been strategically utilized politically to do exactly what they're doing. And this is not about anything more than politics. If you are if when you hear white men say that Black women are some of the most loyal Democratic voters, you are now a target. You are now a target. You're a target. And Black women took that on and said, hey, and they felt proud about that without knowing that somebody just put a red dot on your head. A political red dot. And see, that's what they do. They divide and conquer. When like I said, globally, I mentioned this, Ukraine and Russia was one. They're fighting. We don't look at global policy, Taiwan, China, they're fighting Israel, God. You have to divide and conquer. And for Black people, the Black woman has been divided from the Black man via politics. Politics. We don't want to talk about the 1992 decoupling of NAFTA in 1992 under Bill Clinton. Darius, you can't find me one thing that Jesse Jackson said or any of those Black leaders said in 1992 against NAFTA. And what did NAFTA do? NAFTA took away working class jobs for Black men and sent them north and south of the border. Under Black leadership, the Crime Reform Bill of 1994 was supported by Congress, and the champion was Joe Biden. We are the Black elite will always sell out working class and poor Black people for white liberals. And then they'll send entertainers to entertainers. That's why Malcolm X said that the white liberal is the most dangerous fox in politics. And who do white liberals control? They control the Black elite. When you go over to the University in Chicago, that is the nerve center of white liberalism. But they hire most of the Black people in Chicago, but people don't even take into consideration that the Blackie community during the 40s, we had an economy with policy. Guess who took policy out? Guess who took policy out and why, and how contradictory it was to their institution? The University of Chicago claim to fame is free market economics. You understand what that means, Jedediah? Free market economics?
Loosely.
I don't. Explain.
Free market economics means it's straight up gangsterism. I got mine. I want more. I'm going to. It's straight up gangsterism. That's why when Black people talk politics with me, I say you don't talk politics because politics is nothing but an extension of gangsterism. The University of Chicago, they train federal judges, they train lawyers, and they took policy from Black people when they were promoting free markets. If you would have held on to policy into the Black communities in the 40s, the policy kings had money to lend. The policy kings was lending money to buy the houses over the other people that we were getting our money from. See, we don't want to go back. The policy king, that's why the policy kings got took out.
long as I've been an advocate in Chicago, I have always been glad that I've always avoided arguments with you. Darius or Tio, is there any perspective what these gentlemen
No,
are?
this is one time I plan to yield because Lee Allen made a good point, and the conservative brother made some good points back in the. They did. I have to be honest. Be honest when you have to be. But I have something for you, Jedediah. Okay, you my guy. I always mess with you every now and then, right?
You think?
Tiffany Henry for president.
You
Tiffany
doing
Henry for
stand up now?
president.
You doing stand up now? T.O. You should go to Zanies.
No, I had
You
to
should go
mess with
down to
Jedediah,
Zanies.
man. I had to mess with him. But I took that moment, but brother Lee Allen took care of the business along to I mean that literally. They took care of the business. They presented facts. They talked about what's concrete opposed to what people just guessing, whatever the case may be. All right.
I mean, but obviously, so but I don't know
But
if
Brown, let me get on in here. Uh, I wanna address some points from your guest, the brother from the conservative party. God bless. Uh, and then I want to touch on what something that Lee Allen said because I ain't gonna be back in the corner like this. I'm gonna come out swinging. Uh,
Absolutely.
conservative brother said Johnson when he was talking about Trump meeting with Trump and that Trump gave all these monies to HBCUs. It's funny how a lot of times people get up and they say certain things like that, but it's interesting, we can't find that anywhere. There's nowhere in the press clippings, nowhere, you know, uh, being announced on the 25 news cycle. But I am seeing $300 million being put up for a damn dining room at the White House, and wrecking balls currently as we speak. Remodeling the White House. That's what I am seeing. What I am seeing is $500 billion. Now net worth of Elon Musk with his government contracts for his space companies. What I am seeing is Trump getting richer and richer and doing crypto dinners around the world with other foreign nations. What I am seeing is Trump influencing the congressional maps across the country to pick up more congressional seats to flip the midterm election to go into his favor, so the Democrats won't take the power back of the Congress and the Senate to make sure to impeach him. And then what Lee Allen was saying as it relates to the '94 crime bill, and that NAFTA was behind, Clinton was behind the NAFTA bill, and then Biden was behind the crime bill. That's true, but still at the same time, even though Biden was behind that crime bill, after George Bush was president and the Obama Biden administration took over from Bush, it was President Biden, who was then Vice President Biden,
Biden
was
didn't take over
behind
from Bush.
the
He took
bailout.
over from Trump.
No, no, no. What I'm saying is the Obama Biden administration. Biden was Vice President for Obama. Biden was the Vice President. So
But
behind the
he
bailout,
altered the crime bill, though.
but uh, but behind the bailout for after the country was in a recession, Biden drafted the bailout plan,
And
which
can
saved
I
the
interrupt one?
banks.
Can I ask you a question, Darius? What policy created the housing implosion? What policy, single policy, did that? And what policy did that?
You tell
Mm.
us.
It was the deregulation of the banking that Taft-Hartley from the Great Depression, where you allowed investment banks and investment houses to commingle funds, which created a greater risk pool. That happened under Bill Clinton in 1999 with the Banking Deregulation Act. The same thing
Okay.
happened with the big media companies. That's why we've gone from having something like 120 media companies down to 7. That was under the Clinton administration, and your mentor Jesse Lewis Jackson was an advisor to Bill Clinton when those policies came down. And see, that's where
Mm.
the disingenuousness come from. You want to talk about these things so abstractly without going concrete to the policy. The policies were put in from 92 to 1999 under the Bill Clinton administration. That's
Well,
where this
and
all
and
occurred
and
at.
and at the
That's where
same
this all
time,
occurred at.
under the Clinton administration, he left the country with a balanced budget. He was one of the only presidents to have a balanced budget to leave the
And
country
and, and
with
then what
zero
happened
debt.
on And what happened on September 11th, 2001?
George W. Bush effed up the country. Effed up the
The
economy
Bin
and
Laden,
and,
the
and sent the
first,
country into a recession.
listen, see, Darius, you got to speak facts, sir. See, you're used
Those
to
are
being a
facts.
preacher. No, you're used to being a preacher. I'm not talking about preaching. When did the
Who said something
first
about preaching,
World Trade?
brother?
Listen. When did the first World Trade Center
Now you
bombing
being
happen?
insulting.
No. When did the first World Trade Center bombing happen? When did the
First World
first
Trade
World
Center.
Trade Center happen? The first World Trade Center
I know
bombing
there was a
was in
bomb that happened before
1995.
that.
It was
I
in
know it was a
1995.
bomb
Who
before
was the president?
2001. Yes,
Who was the president then in 1995?
the president was Clinton.
And therefore the terrorist cells that end up going from the first bombing in 1995 that came back 6 years later came under his watch. See, you don't like fact, and I don't want to be disrespectful to you, but facts
That
are
was
facts.
that was
I don't
that was
have any
that was
conjecture.
that was truth. That was truth. But at the same time, we're saying like
There is
it,
no at
it
the
came
same
it
time.
came it
There
came
is
it came under his watch. But at the
at the
same
same
time,
time.
did he have
Go ahead.
any way to stop that? Did he have any way to stop
What
terrorism?
are you talking? You know how much we spend on intelligence in this country? The
He
CIA
was
has a
going
black
after.
budget.
He was going
The
after. He was going after
CIA has
Osama bin Laden
sir, can you
for
stop?
30 years.
You don't want to talk anything except conjecture. The CIA has a black budget.
That we can hear everybody. Dante, what are you saying, Deontay?
We stop terrorism by electing Donald Trump. That's how we stop terrorism.
We stop terrorism by what?
Electing Donald Trump. That's how we.
Trump is a terrorist.
You speak in ways that are inflammatory, absent of fact.
Was
Obama deported. Listen
Trump speaking
to this,
inflammatory? Charlie
Darius.
Kirk was speaking peace.
Obama deported. Listen, Obama deported 3.1 million people. The Trump administration is nowhere close
Deported.
to 3. He deported. Go Google how many people Obama deported. The ACLU sued the Obama administration for its treatment of detainees.
Fact.
That's
Okay.
fact. That's fact.
However, it was not done so.
No, it was not. Jedediah, let me explain what happened. You have a media that if the media wanted to go at Obama's deportations, 3.1 million, and they broadcasted it every day and they put cameras on it, the media has a bias. See, Darius takes talking points that are conventional, but they become undermined when you introduce
But
facts.
tell me
Go
why
ahead,
there's not
sir.
been
Just
one
keep. I can let
libertarian
you
Listen,
speak.
elected
gentlemen,
official
I just
elected to
got one
office.
question to ask you.
First of
I
all,
just got one question. When can we fix the pothole on the viaduct on 79th and Stony? It's been there since 1980. I don't understand
Ain't
that.
that Michelle? Hey, isn't that Michelle Harris Ward?
Yes, it
I
Isn't
don't
is.
that
know
what?
who it is.
No, didn't they
I
just
don't know who it is.
didn't they just spend
But
$30
I
million?
didn't I didn't messed up 3 rims on that.
Street should pay.
Listen,
I
Street
they
should
just
promise
pay.
you,
spent
man.
30. Listen, didn't they just spend $30 million on that studio over there?
wait,
Didn't they spend
Hey
30?
man, I'm not in that. I'm not in that.
is
I
it
just
They
want
paid a lot of Southside streets.
is it the one right under the viaduct at White Castle?
right there. It's been there since it's been there since
At White Castle,
Did
yeah,
you call
right there.
311?
can't miss it.
Did you call
We
311?
go around it. We go around it religiously, and
Okay,
it seems like
hold on, guys.
man.
Like I said, I do. First of all, I want to thank you, Deontay. This conversation has gotten, it's just from. This is a gentleman who sits with the president of the United States. He is a consultant to many Republican leaders and politicians. Deontay, I don't know if you want to sit on the phone or if you have anything else to say, but we're trying to get down to the bottom of this administration's effect on the black community. And I think my
So
point, huh?
let me say this to respond to the gentleman that talked about the ballroom and every other nonsense of that. I'll say this. I don't care about it. That's one of the biggest problems in the black community, that we worry about the stupidest semantics in life instead of worrying about how can we level up, that we could be able to be one of those groups of people that are funding ballroom, because the ballroom is funded by private money. $200 million, all private money. Guess how many of those donors were black? That's the thing, is that we don't have that type of money amongst us to do that. When we built the African American Museum, we had to depend on white and Latino donors to help us do something that we wanted for ourselves. And so the biggest issue is, that we need to be worried about wealth in our own generation, or wealth in our own community. The second thing is, you talked about wars and everything else, is that you may not like Donald Trump. You may hate everything that he says, but one thing that you cannot take away from him is that he has stopped 4 wars from happening. Something that Biden couldn't do, something that Obama couldn't do, and something that Bush couldn't do. Speaking of Bush and speaking of illegal immigration, Jedediah said that, well, they didn't
Hey,
talk
bro, what war did he stop from happening though? What war?
about. They talked about.
What war did he stop from happening?
Hold on, let me finish. Let me get back there.
Okay.
They talked about how illegal immigration wasn't as bad as Obama did. But the reason it wasn't is because Bush was against deporting Latinos. The reason Bush was against deporting Latinos, because that was a big part of his base on getting him elected. It flipped. Republicans was for illegal immigration, and Democrats was against it. Then it flipped when Donald Trump said, I'm against it. And then now all of a sudden everybody's against it. But the media never shared it because the Democrats was doing it and it wasn't a big issue.
Brother Johnson, can I ask you a question real quick? Why is it that there's so many of you black, and I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say this, but there's so many of you black supporters of Trump, many of you are always on the outside, and there's only one black person on his cabinet that's over the housing secretary. He's the only black person on his cabinet. How is it that it's so many of you all on the outside instead of on the inside?
Can I answer that question?
No, Jeff, can I go, please?
Well, let me let
Go
you.
ahead, man. I can't never
Can I go? Can I go
talk.
there, please?
I'm not never come back on this show.
This is Darius. Please, please,
Go
please.
ahead, man.
You
Go
started the
ahead.
discussion talking about talented 10 black people, right?
Answer it, and then we'll go to Jeff.
You started discussion with this talented 10 notion of black people, right,
Are you a
Darius?
libertarian
Then
or
you come
Republican?
back.
Which one
Then,
now?
no. I'm an independent. You're a sycophant.
Oh,
Hold on.
you
You
said you
really
was
can't.
libertarian, so you switched over
Okay, but listen,
during the
I'm
panel
not
discussion.
expecting. Listen, I'm not expecting anybody to do anything for me.
Gentlemen, I can't hear either one of y'all.
He asked the question to Deontay Johnson. Ask the question, then we'll deflect to Jeff. Go ahead, Deontay.
So listen, the non-politically correct answer is black conservatives want to make real money and not make money from the government. That money that they pay in that administration is pennies. No one can live off of it. And so, listen, I was offered 5 jobs in administration. Every time I walked in the White House, they asked me to come in there. But no, I'm not about to go make under $100,000 to work a bunch of different hours. And I can tell you that a lot of black Republicans were offered jobs and we turned them down. Go do that. Like, it's not any money. You can't live off of that. So a lot of us are consultants. A lot of us are, strategists, or doing media and influencing, and make a lot more money than the government pays. So who's going to take a pay cut?
That's solid.
Hey, Dante, are any of those jobs still available?
When the government
Are any of those jobs still
Exactly.
available right now? Because I
Exactly.
take it. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Man, come on, man. Help me out. I'm a conservative. Google me.
Okay, I think this is the last thing that I want to ask you, Deontay. You can stand if you want to, and I do need to deflect to Jeff. But I saw you, on television. You were saying blacks for Trump, but it also seemed like when you look in the comments, you had a very heavy hand from the black community. How does that make you feel, Johnson? Sometimes the response you get from your community with what your fundamental political views are.
I keep fighting. A lot of people don't realize the assignment until the assignment happens, until after the fact. Harriet Tubman says she would have saved a lot of more people if they only knew they were slaves. And I look at that. I look at that a lot of black people have not understood that you are slaves to the Democratic Party. And they keep you right where they want you. And they do. Lyndon B. Johnson said, "I'll have these niggers are uppity. I had them voting, Democrat for 200 years," and he was right. He was right, and he knew how to do it, and they continue to do that. The biggest thing is black people have to learn how to wield their own power, become a voting bloc, because we're not a voting bloc. When we give 90% of our own vote to one party, we're not a voting bloc. It doesn't matter. This is the biggest problem in elections. Republicans think they've already lost the vote, and Democrats think that they ain't got to work for the vote. So that means who loses? We do.
We do.
We do. And so it doesn't make me feel any way. I just keep fighting regardless. And listen, I'm in the White House once a week fighting for black people, whether they know it or not. And I don't feel any type of way about it. I'm going to keep on fighting regardless of who likes it or not.
Well, can I say something before everybody hang up? Damn, Jedediah.
Yeah.
Can I just text next time you want me on the show? I just text you. So I don't get a chance to talk. Anyway, so I agree with him. So my father used to always say, and he still does. He said, "One party don't want you, the other party don't need you." So I can honestly say that I've been a Republican since the demise of the best politician, political mind to me, Harold Washington, and I've seen the plight of our people, and I haven't seen us gain any ground politically and consciously as far as our IQs are involved. I've seen us being controlled by machines. Our campaigns are funded. Our path was carved out for us, and now that we don't have any of these massive puppets around, and I don't think we know what to do or how to do it. Our South suburban areas are depleting, not because of the bickering that goes on, but it's big box businesses are not attracted to disruption in government. I think that there are areas that are landlocked. I just think that we all need to stop being so politically emotional and respect each other's opinion and and respect each other's person. Because I'm from Chicago, born and raised, like everybody on this panel, and I applaud every gentleman here. I joke a lot, just keep. I know everybody on this panel. I love and respect them. You know what I mean? But I am what I am. I'm a Republican, 10 toes down, and I'm not a follower. So if it makes sense to me, I've helped Blagojevich, I've helped Democrats, I've helped Judy Bar Topinko is probably one of the best. I'm around, man. I was forced into this, man, licking envelopes, but I ain't get a penny. Still thinking about pressing charges on my dad for child endangerment. That's when the back in the day the envelopes had the real glue on it. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, yeah. So I think we get a lot further collectively, and that's been our biggest hindrance. And I'm just gonna leave it with that. God bless you and good night.
Yes, sir. And Jed, my question still remains the same. I just want to end on this note with the conservative brother that was on your show tonight, and the brother Lee Allen, and everybody on the show. Would you all vote for an African American Republican candidate for president with 34 convictions in their background? I think it's white privilege with Donald Trump. I'm not against Donald Trump. I just think he really that white privilege is something else, because I know for a fact that any black person, and when I talk about black people, I'm concerned about all of humanity, but I'm a black man in America, and my main concern is to uplift our people. I'm looking at the conditions in our community, right? And I don't believe that one person can change our conditions, but I know for a fact a lot of people that talk a good game, they will not stand next to a black man with 34 convictions running for president, whether he's Democrat or Republican. They'll try to stay way away from that person. I know that for a fact.
Most definitely.
Someone said, as a fact check, top contender for governor of Florida, Byron Donalds, has 30 convictions.
Okay. It's African American brother?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I
he
just need to
supports
know.
Trump.
Okay, I'm
I ain't
Yep.
gonna
looking it
lie
up.
to you. I'll vote for
It's
a
good
brother
to
with
know that.
34
It's good.
convictions. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, it's
Like
good
I
to know
said,
that. Jedediah. I'm going to check the
I,
facts on that. Okay.
And I
well,
don't know what just came across the screen. I don't know that personally. I'm just giving you a fact check. Uh,
Got it.
but I think that, Tio, if you can hold off, I want to say something to you before you get off the screen. Darius, you have a final thought?
Of course. Thanks, brother, for bringing me on, and to the other brethren, Lee Allen. It's all love, man. Always, man. No harm at all. Brother Jeff, man, it's always good to see you. My big brother
Yes, sir.
Tio. But yeah, I share a lot of sentiments that Tio just shared. And to close on this point, far as us as a whole as black people, we got to think about this. Since Tulsa, Oklahoma, when we had a Black Wall Street district, where we everything in that city was black, and it was burned down by white folks. Think about this. Now they're building white-owning communities. They started some in Georgia, and now they're starting more in Missouri, and they're continuing to build these white-only communities. Sending a message to us and letting us know that they don't want us in in their communities. So if they're building their own communities with their own churches, with their own housing, and keeping us out, that should let us know it's time for us to come together and unite as blacks as one.
Mm.
Lee, you've been referred to by Keith Price as the Black Chat GBT. Do you
Hey,
have
boy, y'all crazy, man.
That's a good
That's
one. That's a
crazy.
good one. Yeah, you got the fact. No, you got the receipts. That's what that's all
Yeah,
about.
Hey,
yes, sir.
listen,
Yes, sir.
listen. I hate to be inconvenient, right? As a black man, I hate to be inconvenient, right? But when you read, and you do your research, I don't externalize how I feel about black people. It's all internal. I don't care what white people do, right?
Mm.
I don't. It's like Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel football has beat the Chicago Public League and most black teams at a 95% rate in Chicago. Mount
True
Carmel
story.
football, St. Rita, Brother Rice, right? I don't know how that's possible when we have had 75 years of street gang activity in Chicago among young men. How is it that our most aggressive young men have not been taught a skill set at a fundamental level that they can compete against a Mount Carmel or a St. Rita? I look at that at a basic level. Darius, you talk about Tulsa, right? And this is sad, right? The University of Chicago has had more negative economic impact on the free market economics of the African American community in Chicago for the last 100 years. The University of Chicago, they have trained every policy that has undermined the black community in Chicago is at the University of Chicago. The University of Chicago is sitting on a $15 billion to $20 billion endowment.
Mm.
Why? That's where I know the truth becomes inconvenient. Because if we went at University of Chicago like we went at the Trump administration, you might get some real power, but you never do that because that's what real power is. We don't want to. We want to have a conversation that white liberals want us to have. It's not an easy. These aren't even conversations that should be on any network because they're that serious. University of Chicago has taken billions of dollars out of black people's hands based upon a contradiction of what the university exists on. And I can guarantee you, when you guys went over there and fought them for that emergency room, that was small potatoes. This is a $1 trillion discussion. Africa right now, in West Africa, the Africans have decolonized faster
Wait, that hurt
than
it.
black people in America.
That
Huh?
hurt. You just
That hurt.
that hurt.
Go
You
ahead.
just said that us fighting for the Trump Center on the south side of Chicago was too small.
Not in small in terms of the fact we should have owned the hospital. We talk about free markets. Daniel Hale Williams performed open heart surgery. There should be
Mm.
10,000 black doctors that came out of schools in Bronzeville since the 1930s. You see what I'm saying? That's the inconvenience of it. We should have had 10,000 black doctors that came out of Phillips, that came out of Dunbar, that came out of DuSable, that came out of Forestville, that came out of Tilden. We didn't get them numbers. Why didn't we get those numbers?
We abandoned the talented 10th. That's why.
No,
Hey,
we
Jeff,
never needed a talented
we
10th. See,
never needed one.
we never need. That was white liberals giving you talking points that you've carried for 100 years. You couldn't publish what white
Mm.
liberals didn't want you to publish to produce those arguments. That's the reason we like
Hold on a
arts and
second.
entertainment. Jeff, let me
Oh,
finish.
I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
why that's why we like arts and entertainment from the Harlem Renaissance. The most knowledgeable scholar that none of us black people talk about. There's two of them. One of them was Steve Coakley. I
Oh
am
yeah,
convinced Steve Coakley was one of the most diligent black scholars we had, and he died indigent.
that's right.
He died indigent. He talked about things, just like I said, it's inconvenient. He talked about the boule that ended up producing Obama a decade later. We don't want to talk, we don't want to be inconvenient to white liberals. Let's not talk about Republicans. Let's say, can we be a J.B. Pritzker white liberal? J.B. Pritzker is a Ukrainian. His family came from the Ukraine at the turn of the century.
Mm,
We don't ever want to talk about these things
didn't
at a
know that.
point of being inconvenient. We don't want to be inconvenient. We don't want to be inconvenient to white folks, man. White liberals in particular. And Chicago is the epicenter of the manipulation of black people at the hands of white liberals. That's why when you bring up inconvenient facts,
Jedediah,
go ahead.
Jedediah,
Yes, sir.
is, is my phone number connected to Lee Allen's phone number on this thread?
No.
Delete it. Because he's dropping.
No,
Ooh wee.
they take care
Oh
of the
boy,
business. I gotta give it to him. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
man.
Lee, for the first time, certain things that's happening in front of me ain't never happened. You got a lot of people listening to you, brother.
Hey boy.
I hate to have to cut this. We've been on here
Hey,
for
let me ask you
Hey,
this. Let me ask you this. Hey, before I finish, I want to prove my point.
Yes,
Where
sir.
did Tony Freckwinkle come from? University of Chicago.
Wow.
Where did Lori Lightfoot come from? University of Chicago.
Never knew
Where did
that.
Barack Obama come from? University of Chicago. The University of Chicago is a strategic outpost. Like if we lived like a garrison. You know how you live in them countries, and you know how they fought the Indians. They had a garrison where you had the army, and they go out and kill Indians, and they come back to the garrison. That's what the University of Chicago is. And if you go talk to those black academics over there, Dr. E. Franklin Frazier. Dr. E, remember the name. He is the first black PhD in the history of the University of Chicago, Dr. E. Franklin Frazier. You've never heard his name. You know why you never heard his name? Because
Why's
he
that?
gave inconvenient facts and exposed white liberals,
I can't
not
be
Republicans.
I can't be heavy on the president and not acknowledge the other side. So my question to each one of you is a final question. A final question.
Okay.
Jeff,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
are you
Bless your heart.
is the Democrats doing in Illinois, is the Democrats doing anything that you applaud?
You know what? I love and respect a lot of elected officials that are Democratic. I know them personally, and I haven't been proud of the Democratic Party in Illinois in a very long time. I don't think we've gotten any place. I don't think we're going any place, and I think that the Democratic Party in Illinois, and just not just Illinois, I think we have to reinvent what's necessary, and that's community, getting back to the basics without the leadership of outsiders trying to control our narrative and our communities. And until they do that, I don't think I can ever. I don't think the Democratic Party in Illinois can recover.
Lee Allen, anything the Democrat Party in Illinois is doing that you're proud of?
They become remember Alderman Adrena Troutman when she got convicted. I know you remember, T.O. You remember what her famous line was? You
I
remember
forget,
Adrena
bro. I
Troutman,
forget.
Alderman? She
I
said, "We
know.
all hoes. We all hoes," and
Hmm.
that's what Adrena Troutman said. And I think the Illinois Democrats have become better prostitutes.
Wow. Theo, is there anything that the Republican Party has done that you're proud of? Theo,
You want me to respond?
anything
I,
the Republican Party has done that you're proud of?
Now, I believe you take a look at both parties. You know, that's why I ran for governor before, because I wanted to spend $5 billion in the black community. The conditions in our community have not changed no matter who's in office. Well, I'm talking about the low down conditions in the hood. You look at Inglewood, you look at South Shore, you look at Roseland, you look at West Garfield, East Garfield, you look at Harvey, you look at a lot of the conditions of our people, right? What happens, we still got that same slave plantation mentality with certain handpicked African American people speak to the multitudes of African American people, but the people do not receive anything out of it. You got these handkerchief head wearing type of black folks that always on the front line. They call them gatekeepers and house type of guys. The movie Life, they had a character named Hoppin' Bob. His job was to make sure nobody ran across the gun line, and he was willing to kill any brother in that movie if they ran across the gun line. I don't care who don't like it, man. The bottom line, we as African American people have got to work on saving ourselves, organizing to the highest level ever, and using our votes as a voting block and say, look, if we don't get these resources, we ain't voting for them for nobody. That's how it goes. I think on both sides, I'm looking because I've been in Chicago all my life, and I've seen a deterioration of some of our communities, man. I've been around in the late 70s. I remember when you had black-owned businesses, you had a lot of good stuff going on out here. A lot of black leaders have overlooked the fact that they've looked out for themselves individually and forgot about the masses of the people. See, I'm not going to cuss on your show, man. I don't give a hell who talking about it. I'm telling you the facts, okay? Whether it be Republican or Democrat. Yeah, the Republicans have done some good things. Democrats have done some good things, but at the same time, more needs to be done. Look here, man. Let me just say this. I have to go there. African American people have had a mass exodus moving out of Chicago for multitudes of reasons, right?
And
Nobody
I'm
wants
one
to
of them.
talk about Nobody wants to talk about reparations in full detail because everybody's talking about even the Republicans do not want to talk about reparations. Whenever you talk to them about it, they never want to address it. And number two, I want to say this to you, man. It's man, you know what? I'm gonna leave it at that, man, because I have a whole history, just like my brother there, brother. Let me get your name right. That was Lee Allen, right? I have a whole
Yes.
whole catalog, encyclopedia when it comes down to black issues. So I get, I was born militant, man. I tried a lot of different careers. I was born in the movement, and I stand on that. And I don't by myself. You understand? We need more resources in the black community to help uplift our people, no matter where it comes from. You know what? A Martian could come to Chicago in a UFO with a duffel bag full of money and a three-piece suit on, and I guarantee people to vote for him. F all this BS, man. Because that's what it is, that money bag. And people get the money, and when you talk like this, you run people off sometimes because they don't want to hear this kind of stuff. Because I'm telling you the truth. I said when I ran for governor, I guarantee, I said for the last time, I'm going to shut up. If a Martian came to Illinois in a UFO with a double bag full of money, whether he was Republican or Democrat, and he gave that money out, people going to vote for the damn Martian. Because most of the people don't even know
None of,
these people they
none of.
voting for. They don't know these people they voting for, man. It ain't like they just know they spread the money around. And the slave plantation model is, talk to the people, get this guy to talk to his people, get this guy. Nat Turner didn't go for it. They tried to get Nat Turner to say, look here, man, this is what we want you to do. Tell these people it was in the Bible that they should be subjected to slave conditions. And then you know Nat Turner's story, man. Nat Turner didn't
Nat
go
Turner
for it.
didn't, but Obama did.
Obama did, but Nat
Obama
Turner said,
did.
you know what? I ain't going. And you see what happened to Nat Turner? Wasn't nobody there to help rescue him in the end. He stood at some, come on, man. Come on.
Exactly.
I'm just keeping it
Okay, bro.
honest with you, brother Jedediah, okay?
Where's Randall? Has the Republican Party done anything that you're proud of?
I'll let
Well,
somebody else answer that.
the most important color is not blue, it's not red, it's green. You gotta have money. When the Democratic Party is in power and they have the funds to distribute to the black community, I say absolutely. Under Democratic leadership, I think the state of Illinois, Chicago, is in a great position. But as you've seen throughout the years, uh, all of the mayors, since Mayor Harold Washington has been fighting for to balance the budget. And we're seeing that with the Johnson administration. With the failures of the previous mayors before him, who have used those funds and used those city, parking meters and the Chicago Skyway and the Midway Airport, privatizing them all, selling them off. The city has lost a lot of revenue, which goes back to my point again. It's about the dollar green. It's about the dollar bill. If you don't have the green or the finances to fund what you're trying to do, it's not going to succeed. There
Mm.
you have it.
Brother Pastor,
Well, gentlemen,
Brother Pastor.
before you get off of here, if you don't mind, if you give me the pleasure, please don't get off just yet. Something has changed. But I want to give a shout out to a person who I would consider to be one of tonight's sponsors, and we can talk about what that looks like a little bit later down the line. But we got Tyrone Muhammad, who is an independent candidate for the United States Senate, and he is going to have coffee and conversation with the gubernatorial candidate Sheriff James Mendrick Saturday,
Hmm.
25th at the Rebel Supper Club, 5403 LaGrange Road, Countryside. One thing that I didn't expect, and I'm assuming it's because of the spirited nature of this conversation, that candidate popped up. Mr. Muhammad, you got something to say? And then Jeff had to say, "What's up, Tyrone Muhammad, a true friend of Investigate and Advocate? What's up, brother?"
What's up, my brother? Hey, how you doing to the great gentlemen that's on the men that's on this line? I'm just listening in, and at the end of the day, like one of my big brothers told me, Black Death has always been a hustle. T.O. Hardeman. So I'm gonna say this to y'all, man, that the reason I'm running as an independent is because what my brother Jeff said. One group take advantage of our vote, the other group don't give a damn if we vote. Yet we continue to fight each other around this Democratic Party. I don't give a care what they say, and I'm gonna say it succinctly, just like this. I've been in Chicago all my life, and I've never seen a time where Republicans had anything to do by Chicago. I've always seen Chicago as a Democratic city. And yet we continue to talk about Republicans as though the hundreds of shootings a month, the hundreds of shootings a year, and all of
Thousands a
this
year.
thousands, and all of this, yeah, thousands, hundreds of murders a year, all the systemic disinvestment, the Clinton 94 crime bill that I was did 21 years under that administration. You can't tell me shit about no Republicans is doing. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and tell me in my face as I watch men come in and out of prison in a 9x12 cell for 21 years, nothing about that system. Ain't nobody finna sit here and tell me about no shootings, no carjacking, no drive-bys, no nothing that black men and boys been dealing with for the last, I'm 54 years old, be 55 in February. And you're not gonna tell me nothing about nothing no white man did. You ain't gonna tell me nothing about what no Republican did. Because under these social programs, this CBI program, this violence prevention, and all these, Brother Jeff, I'm going to say this to you. There is $3 trillion that's spent, Brother Darius, for all of the social programs. That means the 50,000 churches in Chicago and all the social service programs in the country led by black leaders. $3 trillion is spent by the United States government on black programs. $3 trillion, if I'm not mistaken, just on programs that don't trickle down to our community to fix any social ills. And yet we want to talk about Trump and the cuts that's being made. As I recall, Minister Brother Tio, you can help me if you want. As I recall, we voted. I went to jail 3 times saying that we didn't want these migrants in our neighborhoods while Lori was before the first bus came to Wadsworth. And I went to jail there with Andre Smith. We went to jail. Now you ran and you voted, you ran your politicians under gender, trans, and all these other issues. Forget about black men being incarcerated, mass incarcerated, the lowest on every social economic level. Black men are at the bottom. Under education, we highest in dropout rate. Mental health, we highest. Unemployment rate, no training, we highest. We die more than any other persons and men in this country. We're incarcerated still more than any other men. We receive 2% of all contracts with all this black leadership. Man, please stop playing with us.
Right.
I would not have the audacity to run for any of these parties. All of them need to be busted up and destroyed. That's the only reason I'm running as an independent, to be in the front to Juliana, to Kamala Harris of Illinois, and the Indian man, the male Kamala Harris of Illinois. That's the only reason I'm running as an independent, as a United States Senator, to be on the same stage as I will be Saturday at that forum, to bust that bullshit up and say, thus said the Lord, y'all need to stop playing with us. You're not going to give us our leaders no more. We're going to stand strong and stand firm and develop and build black manhood again. Because this crap here, man, of the what I'm seeing and us fighting, Darius, I love you to death, brother. But that pastor shit got to go. Their pastors are the problem. They are the problem. We need to start protesting their church, the Hatches, the Mosses, the Chris Harrises, the who else? The Acre. All these clowns. There's supposed to be a separation of church and state. Yet all these clowns always seem to be where the money is being changed.
Well,
We need to stop playing, man. We need to stop allowing them to play in our face. And here we are, billions of dollars. If we talking about ex-cons, right? I've already made history as an ex-con by being a nominee on as far as the independent party candidate. When I make the ballot, I make the history again. And when I'm the nominee as an independent candidate for Senate versus Raja, because that's who they gonna pick, the fix is already in, an Indian that has what receipts he have for black people, for Obadeli them and all of them to be parading this man around in our community. Here I am, real receipts, and I ain't got no endorsements. I got all the endorsements from the Indians, the Republicans. I got endorsement from the Arabs. I got endorsement from the Pakistani and the Palestinian community. But nobody in my own black communities have they endorsed me. And these people are about to raise $5 to $10 million for my campaign. And yet we running around here chasing a lie. We're running around here chasing a lie in the form of an Indian who never stepped foot that's backed by J.B. Pritzker. They didn't slate none of these candidates, Jedediah. They didn't slate Robin Kelly. They didn't slate Juliana. And they didn't slate Raja. What tells me is that the Democratic Party is fractured even amongst themselves, yet we sitting here debating about who going to serve our community as a United States Senator. One thing you know for sure, you can go in the White, you can go to the Congress with Tyrone Muhammad before you can go into Congress with any of them. One thing for sure, you can pick my phone up and call me, and I'm gonna be out on the street with you before any of them that they talking about selecting as our representative for Illinois. Man, the hell with this migrant crisis, the hell with the smoke screen of this king, with JB the biggest king in the world. How many times we done ran this man out the building, Jedediah? Yo, you know this man ain't for
That's what I'm
us. He
talking
hate
about.
black men. Yeah, we allow them to parade this clown around our neighborhood, and we only see J.B. Pritzker when it's time to vote. We only see him when it's time to vote. We ain't sure in the hell ain't gonna see Juliana. We sure in the hell ain't gonna see Raja. Yet these people do this to us, man, in our face. We'll violate our own brothers who y'all know more than anybody. I've done more than effect change in public safety, violence prevention, reentry, workforce development, and creating business to put black people to work, black women to work, and black men to work than any of them candidates running. They talk about taking your tax dollars and doing something for other communities and other people, non-citizens, that I pay taxes every day. I pay taxes every day and put people to work every day, and yet we ain't even talking about none of that, asking me nothing about what taxes mean and what the economy is. When
So,
none of them put people to work, none of them own businesses, none of
well,
them just own businesses.
well, definitely got your money's worth for the sponsorship.
Amen.
This is
so
Amen.
so now, Jedediah, I have to get out of here now. But before I get out of here, bro, all due respect, remember what I said. Tiffany Henyard for president, my brother, and that's for you, Jedediah. That's for you, okay?
get
Tiffany
off.
Henyard, brother.
Before
All
you,
right?
I want to say this though. Before you get off, Tio,
Yes,
um,
sir.
you got beat up a lot because of your support of Tiffany Henyard. I am very proud of the advocacy that I've done in Dalton, but now I know a lot more than I knew
Yeah.
before. And I want to tell you that I remain proud of you for being a man who stands on his laurels. And I do have some things that I wish I did not participate in, and some people I did not back up. And Tiffany Henyard, I will say this with my face forward. I don't think that she deserved all of what she got. And some of the
Wow.
coming out in the wash. I mean,
That's me.
it's coming out in the rinse that I didn't get that I didn't know in the wash. And I'm really hoping that I don't have to get on borderline regret, nor have to ever issue that woman an apology for things that I have discovered in hindsight. But
Okay.
one of the biggest things that I will say to your credit, and those of you all pretty much most of you all on the screen who did not miss your words and were very harsh with me at times. I'm gonna say to you, she still has not been charged, and that's to
Right.
your credit. And I appreciate all my big brothers for never ever compromising as it relates to anything before me or anything I've ever experienced. And so one day,
Appreciate that, man.
maybe
You
one day,
just got so many points from me, man. Jedediah, that's huge, man. Humbleness is a commodity, brother. I'm trying to that was large, man. What you just said, that statement you just made, and I respect and Tyrone, everybody on the panel, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I got to go try to fix this
Yeah.
pothole on 79th on the
And,
viaduct on Stony. And,
and then brother Tyrone, I'm still your big brother Tyrone Muhammad. Okay.
yes,
Hey,
sir.
hey,
All right. Still your
I'm,
big brother.
hey, Jedediah, I'm gonna tell him like this. I'm gonna believe it when he run up and down the state with me for U.S. Senate like I did for his governor race.
Right. I got you. We'll talk. Okay. We'll talk.
Man, come on
brother,
with
All
that
right.
apology,
you
Jedediah.
All
no more
right.
punching
Cool.
on the screen.
All right. Much respect, everybody, and I'll be talking to you
I
all
didn't even
soon. Okay.
know you fucking let
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love, man.
Love
Hey,
and
leave,
respect.
leave,
Leland, reach out to me, man. You're supposed to be a part of this campaign, man. Come
leave,
on.
leave
And,
I'll
left.
and
reach out
You
to
gotta
you.
get my Lee Allen. Get my
I'm
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
definitely,
Lee,
man. I
that's right.
ran for
I'm
the
sorry, Lee Allen.
no
Lee
doubt, no
Allen, that's
doubt. Get
right.
my information in Jedediah. I want the brother, the conservative brother number, because this discussion needs to happen. And this is a very inconvenient discussion, man. And if we can't tackle the inconvenience, then we gonna get what we expect.
Are you talking about from DC?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Talking about from DC?
Yeah, I'm talking about locally. I mean, like what you just did, Jedediah. I think that was what you just did demonstrates what we need to be doing in the back room. And I think that's what we would have benefited from in the beginning. We need to stop being the black soul circus in politics. Much of what we need to talk about is in the back room because it's that the things that we should be attacking, they should never see us coming. They should never see us coming. And until we get comfortable being in that back room, and I don't care, I want to go to the back room. I'll tussle with you, Tyrone, in the back room, but long as we come out of that in agreement. I don't want to fight anybody. I want to be in that back room, and if we got to scrap, but when we come out of that back room, is when we get uniformity. But if we don't have no back room, we don't have a real process. Everybody we going against has their strategy in the back room before it's ever brought in forums like this.
Loud and clear. Lee, you are a king. You're one of the only people that I've never argued with because you got your own lane, and I respect you. I really mean that.
Likewise, brother.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I respect you too, but Tyrone, I argue with you all the time. You got your own lane as well, but I argue with
You
your ass.
only argue with me because you my little brother. See, that's the problem. See, you little bitty brother. See what I'm saying? And so you argue because I ain't taking you serious about what you saying because I already told you what lane you supposed to be in, and I'm tired. I'm happy, that you can discover that people can use you, man, and they've done it to me. They take us and our passion, our love, our desire for our people. They take that Jedediah and they twist it and they use it for their own selfish reason. You know, and I know. I've been in those rooms where we've been offered a lot of money to go away. And we still right here fighting. But a lot of people don't understand that. I know I've turned down millions just to shut up. Just shut up, man. Ain't nobody else paying attention. Y'all the only
Just
ones.
leave us alone.
Y'all the only ones hollering. Y'all the only ones making noise. But man, I'm not. Hey, man, you say what you want, just I ain't never. Government ain't never funded us, took care of me, Ain't nobody that ever gave me nothing that I ain't transparent about and pushing what I am. If I said X comes for Trump, I explain why I said it. Like it or not, it could have been X comes for Mickey Mouse. It was going to be against anybody but them. And so now I don't have a party. And I done voted for both sides. So I'm a true independent in my own thought processes and everything that I'm doing, man. So I ain't got none of them. I'm beholden to nobody, no pastor, no politician. I ain't beholden to no Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, Willie Lloyd. I ain't beholden to nothing but the truth and how we build. Although we getting Larry Hoover home, although we getting him home, and I'm telling you, I'm not beholden to none of that crap. So it about none but our people, man, and that's my sincerity. That's where my energy come from. That's where my spirit come from, and that's why I'm gonna keep winning, because I ain't selling my people out for no crumbs.
Tyrone, do us all a favor, sir. Get to work and please become the next United States Senator out of the state of Illinois.
Well, if you focus more on what I'm doing and not focusing on the drama, then we can get this done, Jedediah.
I'll be in touch. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and that was what I would consider to be a very, very full panel of brilliant-minded Black men. Don't let no one tell you that Black men are not paying attention, because indeed we are. Today was specific. I wanted to talk about the effects on the community of people who look like me, and I think that for the first time that was done well. However, it would be extremely disingenuous, and it would be a disservice to the people who make up the leadership of what I believe to be one of the greatest forming organizations that have ever existed for the culture. And with that being said, tonight's show is fully credited by the mastermind of our political czar, Mr. Keith Price. This was not my idea. This was not my intent. This was the architecture of someone that I watched a lot of people discount and even undermine. Mr. Price, I will say it once, I will say it twice in anybody's face. You remain a secret weapon and a hidden gem that is grossly underestimated. Thank you for what you have produced for us tonight. We benefited from it greatly, and I don't care who don't like it. Keith Price is the one who did this tonight, not the commander, but somebody that I for a year watched mishandle. I saw the comments. I saw y'all's appreciation, and all I'm gonna say is you ain't seen nothing yet. I hope someone said that added value to your life. I wanted to open the phone lines and even answer questions, but we're 2 hours in, and I got other stuff to do because we're building. Look out, Chicago Southland chapter is on the way, and if you have not joined For the Culture, I'm gonna say it again, you're gonna be left out, and you're gonna regret it. With that being said, y'all have a great night. And to all of our panel, thank you so much. And to the people of For the Culture, let me be clear. We're creating a very clear message about who we are. We are going to be gifting each one of our panelists with a $50 contribution. So if you're somebody who believes in the work of For the Culture INA, make sure that you contribute, because we got to make sure we are blessing to those who bless us. Peace. Wait, the ways that you do it, listed below. And now I'm gonna say it. Peace.
Yo, can I get in on this? I want another 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, you thought it was through. This was just one assignment, boo. Judge checking with God, getting next instructions. You need an advocate, reach out, he might be coming. This young Black king needs no introduction. When he shows up, haters hate seeing him coming. And no, he's not Malcolm, he's not Martin either. He got his own style. Jedediah, we see ya. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. And when he comes through, you know they coming too. Hey yo, INA, where you at? What it do? They got receipts, they got them files. They gone investigate an advocate, holding
I think that it is important that I be very clear here as the chief steward over the resources of For the Culture. We are going to give every one of our guests a $50 contribution. But our political czar, Keith Price, particularly won't be getting shit. We hope that he would work on getting a better phone service and a better device. One day, we would love to hear what the hell he got to say too.
Yo.
And to my brothers, whichever one of y'all have the significant other that got the snoring issue, they got machines for that.
Yo. Can I get in on this? I want another one, two. 1, 2. Oh, you thought it was through. This was just one assignment, boo. Judge checking with God, getting next instructions. You need an advocate, reach out, he might be coming. This young black king needs no introduction. When he shows up, haters hate seeing him coming. And no, he's not Malcolm, he's not Martin either. He got his own style. Jedediah, we see ya. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. And when he comes through, you know they coming too. Hey yo, INA, where you at? What it do? They got receipts, they got them files. They gon' investigate an advocate, holding it down. And when it comes to intel, you know they showing out. You smiling in Jed's face. Hold up, check that file. Don't run up on them either, they always in the crowd. INA got his back, you don't know when they around. This crew, they not looking for the credit. Advocates on the move. This crew, shifting the atmosphere. Advocates on the move. And then